Did you know that the man who gave us the iPhone and the iPad once worked for just $2 an hour at Atari, sleeping on the floor at friends' houses? This is the incredible story of Steve Jobs, a visionary who redefined technology, design, and creativity. Steve Jobs was born in 1955 in San Francisco to a young unmarried couple and was put up for adoption. Paul and Clara Jobs became his adoptive parents and nurtured his early interest in electronics. As a child, Steve loved tinkering with gadgets, and this curiosity laid the foundation for his later innovations. In high school, Steve met Steve Wozniak, a brilliant engineer who shared his love for technology. Their friendship would eventually change the world. After high school, Steve attended Reed College but dropped out after just one semester, frustrated by the rigid structure of formal education. Yet he stayed on campus to audit classes he found interesting, including a calligraphy course. That class left a lasting impression, influencing the typography of the first Macintosh computer. In 1974, Steve took a job at Atari, working on video games, but soon left to travel to India in search of spiritual enlightenment. This journey profoundly shaped his perspective on life, teaching him to value simplicity and mindfulness, principles that would later define Apple's design philosophy. 2 years later, in 1976, Steve and Steve Wozniak co-founded Apple in Jobs' parents' garage. Their first product, the Apple I, was a basic computer sold to hobbyists, but the Apple II, released in 1977, was a game-changer. It became one of the first successful personal computers, turning Apple into a leader in the tech industry. By 1984, Steve unveiled the Macintosh, a revolutionary computer with a graphical user interface. However, clashes with the company's board led to his ousting in 1985. Losing control of Apple was devastating, but Steve saw it as a chance to start anew. During this period, Steve founded Next, a company focused on building high-end computers, and bought Pixar, a struggling animation studio, for $10 million. Pixar went on to create the first fully computer-animated film, Toy Story, which was a massive success and cemented Jobs as a leader in both technology and entertainment. In 1997, Apple was on the verge of bankruptcy, and Steve was invited back to help. His return marked the beginning of Apple's greatest era. He introduced groundbreaking products like the iMac, iPod, iPhone, and iPad. The iPhone, launched in 2007, wasn't just a phone. It was a mini computer, camera, and music player in one. It completely redefined the way we communicate and consume media. Steve Jobs wasn't just a CEO, he was a storyteller. His iconic product launches were more like theatrical performances, full of suspense and excitement. He believed in creating products that people didn't just use but loved. His focus on design, simplicity, and user experience set Apple apart from its competitors. Sadly, Steve battled pancreatic cancer for several years. Despite his illness, he continued to innovate, working tirelessly to bring his vision to life. On October 5, 2011, the world lost one of its greatest innovators. Today, Steve Jobs' legacy lives on in every Apple product, every Pixar movie, and every entrepreneur who dares to think differently. His story reminds us that even the biggest setbacks can be stepping stones to success if you have passion, vision, and the courage to follow your dreams. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about the lives of visionaries like Steve Jobs, make sure to like, share, and subscribe.